Because nothing is more important than these children, Grace said firmly, holding her ground despite the furious look Elliot threw her way. Oh, I disagree, Elliot shot back. These children are my responsibility. If you can't understand that, then leave now and don't come back. Grace felt her stomach twist into a hard knot, but she refused to back down. She met his icy gaze directly. Don't you dare tell me you don't care about them. You may not know it yet, Mr. Whitmore, but your son needs you. Your daughter needs you. Be quiet, he barked, standing up abruptly. You have no idea what you're talking about. His hands balled into fists, his knuckles turning white from his grip. For a brief moment, Grace saw a flicker of vulnerability in his eyes, but it vanished just as quickly as it appeared. As Elliot paced the room like a caged animal, Grace's gaze fell onto a photograph sitting on his desk. It depicted the same man in the photo, along with a beautiful woman whose face was radiant with happiness. A tiny baby boy nestled in her arms, looking like a miniature version of his father. And beside him, another baby slept peacefully, mirroring his brother's pose, except hers was a girl. Their smiles were contagious, their eyes sparkled with life. Yet the presence of another couple loomed behind them, their faces stern and unsmiling. Who are they? She asked softly. Elliot whirled around, his eyes flashing with anger. None of your business, he snarled. As I said before, if you don't know your place, you wouldn't be asking such impertinent questions. Grace lowered her gaze, shame creeping into her heart. Just as she turned to leave, the file slipped off the table and landed open at his feet. He bent down to retrieve it, revealing a newspaper clipping pinned to the front page. Grace's heart lurched as she read the bold headline, Missing Person. Have you seen Amelia and Joshua Whitmore? It had been 78 days since their disappearance. The article went on to say that the police believed the children had been taken by their parents, Mark and Lisa. Despite extensive searches of the surrounding areas, no trace of them had been found, and their parents remained silent. The missing persons poster accompanying the story displayed a picture of the same smiling couple in the photograph on his desk, the one with the kids, and beside them were the missing children. Grace felt her mind reel, struggling to piece together the fragments of information scattered before her. Who were these people? Why did they intrude upon this family's lives? And what did it all mean for the two babies left in her care? Grasping the corners of the newspaper, she held it out before Elliot. Who are they? She whispered. A shadow crossed his face, briefly eclipsing the rage that burned in his eyes. Doesn't concern you. Leave us now, he snapped, snatching the paper from her hands and crumpling it tightly. His jaw was clenched tight, and his entire body trembled with suppressed emotion. Grace hesitated for a moment, torn between her desire to protect the twins and the sudden realization that she had stumbled upon something deeply unsettling. Elliot's demeanor shifted, his voice adopting a softer, graver tone that sent chills down her spine. There is something you need to know, he began, running a hand through his hair as if searching for the right words. Your job is more than just household help. You are responsible for the safety and well-being of these children, period, no matter what happens. Do you understand? His eyes locked onto hers, intense and unwavering. Grace nodded slowly, absorbing the weight of his words. Of course, Mr. Whitmore, I won't let anything happen to them. I promise. Elliot inclined his head slightly, a flicker of gratitude crossing his features, before they were once again replaced by a stoic mask. Good, he said curtly, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. That is why I trust you with this task. Grace departed his office with a mix of apprehension and resolve, his words echoing in her ears. As she ventured back to the living room, she couldn't shake the feeling that the puzzle pieces weren't fitting quite right. Something crucial was missing. Something that would explain the darkness lurking in those high walls. The fear that radiated from him and the haunting questions regarding the missing children. But she knew she wasn't in a position to pry further.
Ow!
Her duty was clear, to shield the children from the shadows that threatened to consume them. Once downstairs, Grace scooped both boys into her arms, burping them gently as she rocked them back and forth. Their small hands clutched onto her blouse like lifeline, their innocent smiles bringing a ray of sunshine into the gloomy room. She could see bruises on both of them too, not the type that would go away with some cream, but the kind that stayed. Hidden beneath layers of clothing, these tiny humans already bore the scars of a battle they didn't understand. Grace couldn't fathom why someone would hurt such innocent creatures. It's all right, she murmured, kissing their heads. Everything's going to be all right. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the room, Grace cradled the twins in her arms. Their gentle breathing calmed her racing heart, reminding her of the precious lives resting against her. She wouldn't fail them, no matter the cost. She vowed to shield them from the darkness that threatened to engulf them. Her own past had been marred by abandonment and neglect, but she refused to let that history repeat itself. She looked down at the sleeping faces, their skins smooth and unblemished, their lips parted in a peaceful smile. How could she possibly convey to them the harsh realities of the world they were born into? The following days blurred into a routine of feeding, playing, and trying to instill normalcy into the lives of these children. Grace faced it head-on, pouring all her energy and love into creating a safe haven for them amidst the chaos that surrounded them. Their laughter echoed through the cavernous halls, momentarily chasing away the oppressive gloom that seemed determined to permeate every corner of the Whitmore estate. But the joyful moments were often shattered by the looming presence of Elliot. He came and went as he pleased, his face a mask of cold authority whenever he graced them with his presence. Grace yearned to reach out to him, to form a bond that extended beyond the transactional relationship of employer and employee. But his distant demeanor erected an impenetrable wall, one she feared she might never cross. Meanwhile, the twins thrived under her care, their chubby hands reaching out to grasp at anything that caught their interest. Their eyes sparkled with curiosity, reflecting a world they were far too young to comprehend. However, there were times when Grace noticed a profound sadness lurking in those depths, a haunting emptiness that tugged at her heartstrings. It was during those somber moments that she realized the magnitude of their loss. They missed their mother terribly, yearning for the comforting embrace that only she could provide. Grace knew she couldn't replace that bond, but she vowed to stand in for him as best as she could, showering them with the affection and attention they deserved. Still, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. It was like trying to piece together a fragmented mirror, desperately searching for the reflection that showed the complete picture. Every interaction with Elliot, every fleeting glimpse into the lives of the twins brought her closer to the truth. Yet it remained elusive, hovering just beyond her grasp. Finally, the pieces clicked into place, and the truth revealed itself to be more heartbreaking than Grace could have ever imagined. But it was a truth worth knowing, a revelation that gave her the strength to fight for the very survival of these innocent children. Grace continued to pour her heart and soul into caring for the twins, shielding them from the darkness that encroached upon their lives. But she knew that true change could only come from within the troubled hearts of their parents. With the strength born from resilience and fueled by an unwavering love for these children, Grace began a journey that would test her limits and ultimately lead to the discovery of her own inner strength. The low rumble of thunder echoed outside as Elliot stormed through the grand entrance hall of his mansion. Rain lashed against the glass windows, mirroring the storm brewing within him. He'd just received a phone call from his nanny, Clara, and the news she delivered was nothing short of shocking.